Now, once upon a time, there was this big white happy balloon just drifting along, minding its own business, and then suddenly one day it was steered off course and found itself drifting over sensitive military sites and high-value targets right here in America. Strange. Now, what happens next is anyone's guess. So yeah, what did happen next? Well, the top dog, our esteemed leader, was informed that there was a massive Chinese spy balloon the size of 3 school buses floating across America at the altitude of 60,000 feet. Now, taking the only logical course of action that you could possibly think of, he did nothing. Now, that might sound crazy, that might sound insane, but listen, these days, we don't want to assume too much. We don't want to, kind of just jump to conclusions. Sure, this massive spy balloon could be monitoring radio frequencies, could be snapping high-res photos, it could be doing a lot of things, but to assume that is for nefarious purposes, it's just as bad as, assuming a man can't have a baby or misgendering somebody, right? I mean, come on, what are you, racist? I bet you probably hate Chinese people, don't you? Now, to be fair, the official statement about why no action was undertaken was something about the risk to people on the ground from some possible debris field. So, finally, after this balloon was intelligently steered all the way across America and everybody was thoroughly outraged, it was intercepted off the East Coast and shot down and blown out of the sky. Case closed, right? Spy balloon, dead, America 1 and Chinese 0, right? Yeah, or was it just a spy balloon? So I am of the opinion that what is being reported on the surface is not really what this balloon was all about, right? Because our government says it was a spy balloon. The Chinese government say that it was just an innocent weather balloon, lost course and couldn't find its way home. So sad, right? I personally think it was neither. So I believe that this was a dry run to test our defenses to see what we would do if a high altitude balloon entered our airspace, and apparently we don't do anything, we just let it do its thing for 2 days and then we shoot it down. But point being, this was a dry run and an opportunity for the Chinese to test out how they could actually execute a high altitude EMP strike. And I'm not the only one who thinks that. There's people way above my pay grade who are saying the same damn thing. So what is an EMP and why would that be so bad? I mean, an EMP, it might turn off your cell phone. Yeah, it might knock out power a little bit. What is an EMP and really, how does it work? So when the EMP is triggered, electromagnets generate a short but intense massive burst of electromagnetic energy, which is really no big deal until those gamma rays, which exploded from the bomb, proceed to eject a whole bunch of happy, crazy, excited electrons that get all tangled up in the Earth's magnetic field and then are flung further away, right? So, thanks to the curvature of the Earth and the altitude that the EMP is detonated at, you can have this umbrella effect that has this massive range. And when tests were done with EMPs back in the day, the range was like 800 miles. They set off a nuke that had EMP effect inside of it, and it shut down electronics in Hawaii, 800 miles away. Pretty crazy, but I mean, the worst thing to imagine would be imagine not being able to watch your favorite YouTuber anymore. That would absolutely be an outrage. Yeah. And then just imagine at a high level, no power, grid down. And I mean, let's be honest here, the electrical grid can't handle squirrel attacks or mag dumps from AK-47s, much less an actual intentional EMP strike at high altitude, right? It would just not be a pretty picture at all. I mean, if you want to think about how fragile the grid is, imagine a drunk 80-year-old guy out at 2 a.m. with a bad hip line dancing. It's not going to end well, right? It's just not going to be a pretty picture. And I did actually an entire video on the power grid and how fragile it is. Suggestion is going to pop right up here so you can go look at that video. And it's really interesting that I was able to also include in the video a whole bunch of data from the Department of Energy about the actual types of attacks that are happening on our grid and really showing how fragile our grid is. And in my opinion, and it hasn't changed since that video, is that like a grid down event is probably one of the most likely survival situations that I think I'll probably face in my lifetime, like a big survival situation, right? And that could come from an EMP strike. That could come from somebody, you know, shooting up a power substation or squirrels chewing through wire, right? Who knows? But anyways, grid down 100%. Yeah, it's not a pretty picture at all. So yeah, what can you do about it? You can worry about it, which is a great use of your time. Maybe you can spend thousands of dollars and tons of time and energy building a giant Faraday cage around your house, or you can just keep it simple like what I did and break out the tinfoil and space blanket. Bingo. So yeah, seriously, there's not much you can do about this, but if you have a stoic mindset like myself, you simply look to change and control those things within your miniature universe. So a few years back, I didn't have like some huge fear about the grid going like down or EMP strikes, but I figured it would be a good idea to get a couple Faraday bags, a couple Faraday sleeves for the laptops, for the cell phone, and for obviously my radios. So yeah, now that I think about it, down there in the pin post and the description, I'll include some affiliate links to those products that I just mentioned, and you can go check them out. And when you purchase through my link, you support the mission and you support me putting out more awesome videos like what you're watching right now. And hell, now that I think about it, I'll go ahead and drop a link to the Warrior Tribe down there in the pin post and the description. This is the community that I've been a member of for years, and you know what? Listen, you can go it alone, or you can surround yourself with a crew of like-minded people who are gonna have your back in a serious survival situation, like an EMP popping off at 60,000 feet above your house. That's a serious survival situation, for damn sure. So yeah, what else can you do? Maybe call up the Chinese and say, listen, can you guys just go back to doing what you do best? So take the necessary precautions, but do not live in fear, worry, and concern about high-level events that you have absolutely no control over, right? Because listen, you know, and I know that by the time this video is probably released, there will be a new headline out there to make you totally forget about the Chinese spy balloon and make you worry and concerned about something else. And you know, now that I come to think of it, while we were all distracted with the Chinese spy balloon, what did they manage to like sneak under the radar there? So I will see you in the next one. And if you just happen to call up Xi Jinping, tell that Winnie the Pooh looking bastard to go ahead and pop that EMP, because number one, I look around at modern society and I think it's time for a purge. Shh. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for the support. Check out the links down there in the pinned post. And if you like this video, hey, hit that subscribe button and tap that bell notification. See you next time.